a different approach for each, I used a different approach for each, we've had the three, and I just used the different information so that it wasn't the same one, same thing, because a lot of the audience was the same audience.
Yeah, I have to, I've gotta
Oh,
finish looking. Don't worry.
I'm glad it's over. It'll be over Tuesday next Tuesday.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are here for a Taos Municipal Schools Board of Education regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. For the record, it is 6:08 PM. I would like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can I please get a roll call?
President Flores,
Present.
Vice President Spray. Here. Secretary Trujillo,
Here,
Board Member King,
Here.
Board Member Concha.
Thank you for that. So we got a student with us that's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Superintendent Layton.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board. Tonight, for the Pledge of Allegiance and Land Acknowledgement Statement, we have Caleb Mares. He's a 10-year-old fifth grader at Ranchos Elementary. He's the youngest child of Eric and Danielle Mares of Ranchos de Taos. He has three older sisters, Jade, who graduated from Taos High School, and Rose and Natalia, who are students from Taos Middle School. He loves to play on his trampoline. He loves playing basketball and watching sports. Caleb's favorite team is the Golden State Warriors. He is a member of the RES Student Council and has been an avid STAR student. Caleb's favorite subject in school is math. When he grows up, he wants to be a marine biologist. Tonight, let us welcome Caleb Mares.
Thank you for joining us, Caleb. If we could all rise and remove our caps for the Pledge of Allegiance, Caleb will go ahead and lead us in the pledge. Whenever you're ready, Caleb.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is our land acknowledgement statement, and I believe it is going to be read by Caleb.
It is respectful to recognize the unique and enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous people and their traditional territories. We acknowledge that we are on the historic homeland of the Red Willow people within the original territory of Taos Pueblo. This acknowledgement will oblige as a reminder of our ongoing efforts to respectfully recognize, honor, reconcile, and partner with the Red Willow people whose land and water we benefit from in this great valley today.
Thank you, Caleb, for joining us tonight and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance and reading our land acknowledgement statement. Hearing the superintendent speak of your involvement with your student council, I think is a great way to show leadership for you and your fellow students. So keep that up. And hearing that you want to be a marine biologist is very exciting. So I want to wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors and keep on studying math because you'll need that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. Just want to acknowledge his parents for joining him here tonight. Good job, Mom and Dad.
Flores. President Flores. Caleb, good job on the Warriors. Good choice.
Okay, moving right along is item 5, approval of the meeting agenda. I believe Vice President Spray, you had a question or some.
Yeah, just one thing. Thank you, President Flores. I wanted to respectfully ask if we could table just one of all those minutes, the one from October 7th to our meeting on the 5th of November, because I found 9 or 10 things that weren't according to my notes of the meeting and my memory of it. So I wanted to have time to look at the tape and just satisfy for myself my questions. So I was asking the board if respectfully you wouldn't mind if we tabled just that one set until the November 5th meeting. Thank you, Mark. October 7th. Just that one.
Okay, so with that, we will move forward with approving the meeting agenda with the note to table the August 7th,
October.
October 7th meeting minutes to our November meeting.
Thank you so much. I apologize. I didn't have time to do that before tonight.
No apologies. Thank you, Vice President Spray. Item 6 is public comment. Are there any individuals that are with us this evening that wish to speak during public comment? I do have Michelle Hunt present, and she would like to speak on the bond issue.
Good evening, Superintendent Layton, members of the board, President Flores. Tonight, I just wish to go.
Oh,
Sorry,
That's
all good, man. Sorry, I just.
good catch.
Are you okay?
I'm all good.
Okay.
jeez.
I was just surprised.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
that's okay. I'm glad you're all right and you didn't bump your head. All right, I'll try again. Tonight, I wish to go on record to express my disappointment and my loss of faith in our ability to work in good faith for collaboration. I wanted to just state that there has not been timely follow-through on the part of the superintendent and the board member leaders of the bond committee. There has not been a timely invitation to schedule a meeting with charter leaders. There's not been a written draft yet of any type of amendment to the resolution to include charters. And there has not been a proposal at this point in draft for equitable for a strategy for equitable disbursement. In addition, there's been no retraction or correction of the inaccurate information that was posed in the superintendent's advertisement that ran in the Taos News. And so I hope that we're able to move forward still with a timely proposal that is able to be approved prior to the November 4th voting election for this bond, because I want to stand in support of that. I know that the school has needs, the district has needs, and I had hoped that by now we would have had at least a communication, and there has not been that sort of, reach out. There's been a little bit of emailing from the superintendent, but nothing that's put anything into a concrete place that's given faith to any charter leader that this is going to move forward in a timely manner. And so that's all I wanted to say tonight. I have full respect of all of you, and my hope would be for a transparent inclusion that can happen in a timely manner prior to November 4th. So thank you for your attention this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Any other members of the public wish to speak during public comment? Kathy Theriot.
It's Terrio.
Oh, excuse me, Terrio.
I know nobody gets it right in Taos. It's all good. Thank you again for the opportunity to share my hesitations to this board as a resident and a taxpayer in Taos. I want to express to the many educators and colleagues in this room my deep respect for what they do and the experience and passion they bring to our community's children each day. I could not do what they do, especially those teaching middle school. Bless them all. I want to support what they need to educate the next generation. I genuinely do. But I have significant reservations that should be addressed to the public before being handed our tax dollars. First, as I mentioned in the October 7th special session, this board has a record of mismanagement of funds, misuse of COVID allocated funds for a sports field, significant repair issues to facilities that are beyond what maintenance can do, and as noted by the bond consultant, ongoing debt in the millions. I know the bulk of this requested money would go towards repairs of the middle school, but there has been little accountability to address these hesitations and instead just focus on the need. How unfair to stoke the scarcity fear in parents and the public to overlook the capacity of this system to manage this amount of money. If you're asking us to trust you as good stewards, trust us to understand. Don't hide it from us. My next concern is along the same lines. Promises were alluded to in that special session of sharing with the state charter schools. But as of today, no follow through with increased communication or meeting with the directors of these schools has actually happened. Does this mean the board was just trying to garner public support without the actual intent to follow up? Like, if we as the public are told what we want to hear, we'll stop asking questions or following up? Yikes. That should make us all wary of handing over a blank check. My last question remains with the validity of the legal constraints for this bond. In that special session, lawyers and board members asked several times to have the law repeated that Taos Municipal Schools cannot include state charter schools in the bond. Yet several people stated that the LASCO bond included charters. So did Taos Municipal School break the law the last go around? Or are they willing to break it now to get the taxpayer money by including state charters? It can't be both ways. And this must be clarified to the taxpayers before the election. That's your duty, not ours. Finally, I will hold my next questions as they pertain to the audit that is slated for later in this agenda, but you should move with speed to release it before the election, as this is very unethical to know something is wrong and not tell the taxpayers while still asking for
30
their money.
seconds.
What a pickle this situation is, huh? I desperately want to support a functioning and welcoming middle school for the community, as that is the most dire need of our community's children. But I also want to see TISA have an auditorium, for Taos Charter to maintain their gym for basketball season, and for Anansi to have the upkeep it needs. Sorry, Taos International, your school looks amazing. But if you need something, I want you to have it. Make me say yes. I desperately want to say yes to this bond. But continuing to
3
ignore,
minutes.
stoke fear, create a better than, less than atmosphere amongst families with kids, or hide what will actually take place with this money keeps me from saying yes, and many others in the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Item 7 is the consent agenda. We did move to table the October 7th, 2025 special board meeting minutes from 7.3. Would the board entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Before we do that, President Mark, I wanted to ask you a question. I found some errors in the minutes that we're going to approve. Do you want to go through those one by one during the consent agenda, or do you want me just to give a list of them to Samantha? How would you like me to do it?
Superintendent, what would you advise?
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, you can easily submit the corrections. And so when you approve the consent, or you discuss the approval of the consent agenda, you can say approval contingent upon the corrections that were submitted.
That will be submitted?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, that sounds good. I just didn't know how you wanted to handle it.
Would you like to proceed with the motion?
Yes. I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written, with the exception of the tabling of the special board meeting minutes of October 7th, 2025 to the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Contingent on the.
Contingent on the additions being made that we will be submitting to the executive secretary. Anyone on the board has come up with any of them.
Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion to approve the minutes, minus the October 7th, 2025 meeting minutes, contingent on corrections that will be presented to the executive secretary. And we have a second from Secretary Trujillo. Call for the roll, please.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. Item 8, presentations. 8.1, Morton Capital Market presentation.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, we should have Morton Capital Market presentation online. Double check real quick. It's a Zachary Johnson or a Ryan Stoker or a Larry Lundberg.
What we can do is we can table this for the time being to later in the meeting. If they decide to join, we can double back on this item.
Okay. The last communication I had with them was this afternoon. Late this afternoon, they were ready to go, so weekends.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and table 8.1 for later in the meeting. Dependent on, we have a second, dependent on if these individuals join the meeting or not. Thank you, Vice President Spray with the second. Call for the roll.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. 8.2, overnight investment account presentation. Dr. Rainier Martins, Director of Finance.
Isn't this presentation about this?
That's for centennial or for this date?
We changed. We sent it together.
It's together though, isn't it?
Is this together, Dr. Martin? No, it's not.
The two slides.
Would like that for me. President Flores, Vice President Spray, Secretary Trujillo, and Board Member King, thank you for the opportunity. I invited Morton, Centennial, and asked the State Treasurer to provide us 3 options for you to decide on how to use our cash from an interest point of view a little bit more effectively than in the past. So the whole idea is we have a lot of cash out of different sources, let it be now GO bond cash, capital outlay cash, activity fund cash, or our general fund cash. And if you just have it on a checking account, as you might know from your private accounts, it's not the best interest rate. Now, the whole idea is having 3 options, but also, of course, be conservative regarding our cash flow. So we can't do long-term investments. It's, of course, not prudent. We would need to have, in my opinion, overnight options. And I believe the Taos City and Taos Municipal Schools, Taos City and the Taos County, if I recollect correctly, are doing something similar, correct? Okay. So it's not uncharted territory, or what I suggest to you. It's actually, I believe, from one of your board members, I believe it was Secretary Trujillo, asking since a longer time, we need to do something on this. And this is now the reaction. I reached out to Morton and Centennial, invited them to present or send me a PowerPoint to present for them. So Centennial did this. Everybody, I believe, knows Centennial, Taos, the Taos Municipal School District and Centennial are working very well together in the day-to-day. So that works all well. As you can see, the bank was founded here in Taos, has its root in the Taos community. The overview, if you may go please to the second slide. So here, the assumption I gave was that we could park overnight for getting a better interest rate, $10 million. That would leave us with enough cash to make at least 2 payrolls. We need to be always soon. We need to pay our bills on time, so we need to have enough cash on the checking account to make all our obligations. But from my calculations, 10 million could be invested overnight. Here, as you can see, Centennial offers a 30-day investment with 3.5%, but no penalty for withdrawal prior to maturity, with 7 calendar days written notice. So it's not perfect regarding overnight, but that's their offer. Then on the last page, that was the quintessence of the hard facts, 30 days, 3.5% for 10 million. Then if you can go please to the slide from the State Treasurer. The State Treasurer, of course, wouldn't like to present. We just say, okay, look, you can look up our rates on the web page, and this is what we offer. That is Morton now. Something different. We wanted to wait for Morton that they can present their PowerPoint. You go to the second page. Thank you. So the New Mexico State Treasurer offers the following rates. Current daily gross 4.194, and current net is for us relevant 4.144. We do offer the 30-day net, but as said, I personally advise against the 30-day net. I believe we do need the overnight. And then, of course, the state government is compliant with New Mexico State Statute. Centennial did not mention it, but I can literally vouch for them in good faith that we do comply with the state statute. So if you choose that option, both options would satisfy this necessary state statute. However, of course, as you can see, the nightly rate is over 0.5% better. And yeah, I'm the director of finance. Of course, I'm keen on maximizing the interest plus daily overnight. These are options 2 and 3. Option number 1 was tabled, and I hope that a gentleman or a lady from Morton will present that PowerPoint to you for your consideration.
I have a quick question. The superintendent, being that our director of finance has presented on these 2 other entities, would it be safe to allow him to go in and discuss Morton, or do we want to wait for Morton to?
We can still wait a little bit because in this case, this is a presentation more so than a decision. And so this would allow us to start preparing the documents for an agenda items for discussion and consideration, and then approving which would be the better rate or which company in particular. So we can wait a little bit because, again, this is just a presentation.
Does the board have any questions for Dr. Martins?
Not at this time. Not for
Okay.
me.
Thank you, Dr. Martins, for presenting this information. I think it is very wise that, and I know Secretary Trujillo has brought it up in the past, that we invest our money wisely and try to get the greatest return. I appreciate you doing the diligence and looking into this. Being that it's a presentation, we will hope to hear from Morton. And then I perceive that at a future board meeting, the district and the administration will bring something to the board for a decision.
Thank you so much for your attention. I want to thank specifically Secretary Trujillo in this case because you brought this topic up. And now I'm here almost 10 weeks, and I wanted to show you that I do listen, of course, to the school board. And maybe I can't act all the time so quickly, but what you say awaits.
Secretary Trujillo.
I believe that it was the Morton Financial Company did a presentation for the schools in one of their conferences, one of the workshops. Is that where you heard a little bit more about what they had to offer?
I talked to them at the conference, and they are competitive with the state secretary. Now, I do not know what rates they are offering right now because it's, of course, in flux. However, up to now, for my personal professional judgment, the state treasurer would offer the best rates in a slight margin better than Morton. Plus, of course, with the state treasurer, it's New Mexico taxpayer money to the New Mexico state treasurer. But these are if you asked about my professional judgment, that would be my answer. And yes, I did talk, of course, to Morton because I know that other school districts are using Morton, and I know that other school districts are using the state treasurer, and others might do nothing like Taos in the past. But I believe the board needs to see all the options on the table because I go, of course, strictly by numbers, and therefore I might forget something important.
Okay, well, thank you for doing due diligence and looking into this for the presentation. Again, we'll wait for Morton Financial to make their presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8.3 is our National Principals Month recognition. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Superintendent Layton.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, October is National Principals Month recognition. And so tonight I had asked all the principals to come in, and the only 2 that were unable to make it, good reasons. Dr. Cherry Malaka is in Albuquerque right now at the Special Ed Law Conference. I believe she is online, if I'm not mistaken. But we do also have Mr. Spell. They are currently having fall night tonight. So don't be surprised if you see him in his true fashion coming either in or at least being able to at least join us at a later time. But I do have a certificate for him. So what I'd like to do is to call up Taos High School Principal Emmy Martinez de Herrera so we can present certificate to her.
Thank you. Such an awesome job.
Up next, we have, at least virtually, we'd like to congratulate Cyber Magnet Principal, Dr. Cherry Malaki.
Thank you very much, Dr. Layton.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for the hard work, Dr. Malaki. Taos Middle School Principal, Linda Martinez.
Anymore.
We have Arroyos del Norte Elementary Principal, Dr. Anthony Medina. Of course, in absentia, Enos Garcia Elementary Principal, Durrell Spell. Just a quick clap. And last but not least, only because it's alphabetical, Ranchos Elementary Principal, Dr. Madeline Serna Marmo.
Get a picture with our principal.
Kids do this.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1.
Thank you.
So President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, before we move on to the next one,
If I may interrupt you, Superintendent, my apology. I just wanted to read the certificate for the record. So it says, Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to Taos High School principals, so we recognized all our principals, in appreciation for your unwavering leadership, dedication, and the positive impact you make every day in shaping our schools and students' futures. Presented this 22nd day of October 2025. I just want to thank all our principals. You guys do not have an easy job, you know, overseeing a school district and working with the parents and the students and the various needs that you encounter on a day-to-day basis. You make school fun, inviting, and the compassion that you have for our community is outstanding. So thank you all for your work. Appreciate your dedication to our community and our schools and their families.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, if I may, in talking about their commitment to increasing student outcomes, again, I remember last year, that's one of the board priorities. And so we got together, we desegregated data, but our principals took on that role, took on that task, and we just had some NM Vista scores that were unembargoed just yesterday. And so I'm pleased to say that across the board, our district increased 1% in ELA. For the specific schools, if you just talk about Taos Municipal Schools, they actually increased from last year to this year 3.2 points. Last year, they actually had, from the prior year, dropped 0.4, but they actually increased by 3.2 as a whole. Also, and this is a very tough one, we had seen a steady decrease in our mathematics. And so I'd like to say that from the prior year, we had seen a decrease. Prior year, in 22-23 to 23-24, we had seen a decrease in our math scores of -5.6. But for the 24-25 year, we not only reversed the downward trend, but we actually increased the percentage points by 2. And that is a monumental task because, one, we all know what the math scores are like in New Mexico across the state, but not only to reverse the downturn, but to create a positive increase. That speaks volumes of our campus administration, teachers, and all the hard work that everybody does, including the board, at supporting our initiatives for increasing student outcomes. So I want to thank our campus principals, our associate superintendent, for providing this increased student outcomes and the focus for this year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Superintendent, and thank you to all of our educators, our principals, and our administrators. Taos Municipal Schools for some time has seen our percentage pretty much flat or decrease with minimal increase. And, I know we work hard every day in the classroom. Obviously, we're not the boots on the ground. Our teachers and our principals are. And to see this just goes to show your dedication and the hard work that Taos Municipal Schools is working towards. Being that it's 2025, we had a couple rough years with COVID, and I think that greatly impacted the achievement rates of our students due to the complications of that pandemic. Seeing these increase in percentage points is very positive and promising. And I'm hoping that, through the continuation of collaboration and hard work, that we can continue to build on these percentage points. And, I believe that we will get there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It just takes some dedication and hard work, and what we got going on. Thank you all again. This is very positive news, Superintendent. It's very positive for the community to see this and to know that we're working hard to raise the bar. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. President Flores, Vice President, if I may, I don't want to put Associate Superintendent Mondragon on the spot, but I also wanted to share a little bit of that praise, because I'd like for her to talk about maybe a little bit some of the things that she saw this year. And she's looking at me like you're putting me on the spot, but I just like to share that because I think it's important to know the hard work. It's not just a one day, it's a continuous effort.
You, President Flores, Superintendent Lee, and thank you for that. I do want to recognize our principals and our school sites, looking at from what we had started last year and, being in education for so long, knowing that to turn a ship around, it takes a while. And that's what we're always trained in when we're going through all of our education courses is you're moving a big ship when we're talking about a school district and even, your classrooms or your school sites. It's when I called Dr. Layton last night to let him know about what I was seeing in the embargo scores and our unembargoed scores, I told him I'm so excited because last year, you as a board focused on student outcomes. You had us as a district start focusing on student outcomes. Dr. Layton, we started getting with PLCs and looking at how we can make that movement with our school sites. And we did see that with our 2 campuses that we started out with PLCs, the large increase, 11% is a big increase for any school site or any district. And that's what we saw with our high school and mid school when we started working on PLCs. And in just 1 year, seeing that in math growth for our students was amazing to see. And then I can't say right now because we're still embargoed on our rankings, but our rankings look good as well. And I was letting him know, we're so close to potentially becoming spotlight schools for some of our school sites. And that's something that we would like to start focusing on with our administrators. But it really began at the beginning of last year where we all sat together, everybody looked at their assessment data and made goals for themselves. How many students can we move forward? And that's what the focus was. And I want to say, congratulations to everybody for doing that. You focused on that the entire year. It wasn't easy work. It was a shift for the district, but we made that shift. And then we're also being recognized by the state of New Mexico as one of 7 districts to implement restorative justice practices and looking at how we're integrating it with the community schools, and that the state is recognizing us as well as moving forward and implementing these programs into our school district, I think is, huge for 1 year in what we've done. So thank you for that opportunity.
One more last shout out to the principals. One of the other scores that came in is, and it's a big problem across the state, but, more so that we saw here was chronic absenteeism. And kudos to our principals because we actually saw a 3% drop in chronic absenteeism, which if you look at in terms of a school district of 1,800, you're talking about 50 to 55 kids that were less chronically absent than they were the prior year. And that speaks volume because the more they're in the classroom, the more learning they are provided by their teachers and then the principals. And so I just wanted to mention that last piece of data there that kudos to our principals for spearheading those initiatives. So thank you very much, principals.
Thank you all for your comments. Hearing the conversation about chronic absenteeism, it actually took me back to a meeting that we had, I would say roughly 2 years ago, and it was at the Enos Garcia Elementary School. And I don't know if anybody else recalls, but I recall we had Mr. Halls speak during public comment about absentee rates when our New Mexico Vistas scores first came out. And I believe Ms. Mondragon, you were our interim superintendent at that time. And going back, 2 years, we've made a big commitment to focus on getting our kids in school, making it more inviting. And you can't teach them if you can't reach them. So they need to be be able to hear us and see us in order for us to be able to reach them. And many times we get public comment that is positive and negative, but I do appreciate when we do hear positive things from our community, such as Mr. Halls when he did speak at that point in time about the need for kids to be in school. And being on the board, being educators, we're aware of that. But to hear that from a community member was very impactful. I have clear memory of that meeting, and I just want to thank Superintendent Layton for hearing the board and working with our administrators to get our kids in school and make it more inviting. I know each school site works very hard at having positive activities, positive reinforcement, and making the kids want to be in school. So thank you, everybody. Okay, that takes us to item 9. Any comments from the board? Item 9 is our student outcomes, and this also speaks to that. We as a board and administration have put student outcomes on every agenda, and it's been our agenda to highlight and dedicate time in our agenda to focusing on students and student outcomes. So item 9, student outcomes, are campus principal presentations. 9.1, Ranchos Elementary School Board presentation. Dr. Madeline Serna Marmal, Ranchos Elementary School Principal.
Good evening, Board President Flores, members of the board, and Superintendent Layton. If you see the first slide, we have some pictures there that I'm very proud of. That's our student council in front of our marquee, and they're asking community members to vote for the GO Bond, and so we were excited to have them there. The next picture is our pre-K, and it's a parent engagement evening that they had where they created drums together. So it was a really fun evening for the parents and the students. And then the third picture is part of our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. So our 4th graders participate in flamenco every year. And this was their performance for their parents, and it was really exciting. Some of our students who are really shy really got out there and danced, so we were really proud of them. Next slide. So this is Ranchos Elementary School at a glance. And so we have our students by race and ethnicity. As you can see, we have a large population of Hispanic students. About 83% of all of our students are Hispanic. 8% are white, not Hispanic. Native American, we have 7%, African American, 1%, and Asian Pacific Islander, 1%. So we have a very diverse population at our school. 15% of our students are English learners. And actually, we just, in the last 2 weeks, have received 2 new students. So we're at 228. So we're excited about that. But 15% of our students are English learners. 30% of our students have IEPs. 30% are receiving behavioral health services. And we are lucky to have Taos Behavioral Health right on our campus to help us with our students. 59% of our students are male and 41% of our students are female. So you might walk into a class, especially of our second graders, and only see 3 to 4 females in each of the second grade classes. So we are very male-dominated campus. And 100% of our students receive their Title I and receive free breakfast and lunch. And our students really take advantage of breakfast and lunch. We have a few who bring their lunch boxes, but the overwhelming majority really rely on our breakfast and lunch program. And then last board report, I gave you our iReady scores, and we talked about the summer slump and how our iReady scores weren't as robust as we wanted them to be, because at the end of the semester, our EOY scores were really increased from our beginning of the year. And this year we were hoping that that would translate, but we really did have a summer slump. So I've been talking to the teachers about what we can do over the summer, because out of 75 kids that participated in our summer program, only 10 were from Ranchos Elementary School. So trying to get more of our students into the summer program, also having a reading incentive program. And we want to partner with Talpa Community Center with their library and also our town library to have a reading incentive program, because anecdotally, some of the students that we did see that were in the green for reading, we talked to their parents and they told us they read all summer long. So we know that that is really a positive for our student body, and in math as well. But if you look at the Amira scores, which is only kindergarten through second grade in the last slide, sorry, our students did do well from kindergarten to second grade versus the iReady. And that was given about a week and a half to 2 weeks later. So we thought that maybe that later time really gave them some time in school. And that helped out a lot too with increasing some of those scores. So we were happy to see the new Amira scores and how our students, many of them were in the green as opposed to the iReady scores. We had our awards assembly on the 16th, and we posted all the pictures on our Facebook page, and we were really excited. Our math awards, 13% of our students are in the green, either in Amira or iReady, and so they received math awards. 21% of our students received reading achievement awards. 14% of our students received AVID awards, so that really their fellow classmates vote on that, and that's for leadership. And then I give a Mustang Award, and that's for citizenship. So students who come to school with a positive attitude, show kindness, because kindness is really important on our campus, they receive the Principal's Mustang Award. But our crowning achievement was our attendance awards. So the last 2 months, our staff has received best attendance in the district. But in September, our students received the best attendance in our district. 79% of our students are at Tier 1, and we're really excited about that. We gave out 179 out of our 226 at that time students received Tier 1 awards. And of those 179, that means they missed 3 days or less of school without tardies. And then 36% received perfect attendance. When we ran the report on the Tuesday before that awards assembly, we had 52 kids who had perfect attendance. And then unfortunately, There were a lot of absences on one Friday and it reduced it to 36, but we were really excited about 36 of our students receiving perfect attendance. And then educator, oh, I thought it was educator excellence next, no? Okay. I just wanted to call attention. We are the only elementary school in the district that has a life skills program, and these are the most intensive supports for our students with IEPs. We have 6 students right now, and shortly this week we will receive a 7th. We have had issues hiring educational assistants. And so those people have to work one-on-one with most of our students in that classroom. But we have very loving educational assistants. We have 2 in there permanently and 2 others that go in to help. And luckily, we have a new teacher this year who has come in and really done a fantastic job with our students. But our students, they participate in all of our school-wide activities. Anything that we have, our life skills students are with us. We offer a specialized curriculum and in reading and of course in math. Our students participate in the ski program, so they all get adaptive skiing with instructors. And we just are really proud of our life skills program. Also, we have a very robust EL and SLD program. We have actually 36 EL students. The 2 new students that we received at our school need EL services. So we have 1 teacher, and that's about 15% of our population. She works with the kinder and first grade students in the classroom, and then she pulls out other students, and it's according to ability. So it's not, she takes all the second graders, the third graders, it's according to their ability. And she really incorporates real world activities. Today they were building bridges because she loves science. So she does a lot of STEAM activities with them. That's Miss Apodaca. And they were building bridges and they had to put something heavy on top to see if their bridge was structurally sound. And so it was really exciting to see that. She also helps in the regular ed classrooms, as I said, with our first and second graders, and she helps us simultaneously translate a lot of things. Myself and our school nurse are totally bilingual, so we also help with parents and if there's meetings and those kinds of things. We communicate with families every day. And then educator excellence. We are really excited because we've really done a deep dive with PLCs this year. We were kind of hit or miss last year, but this year we're really dedicated with our collaboration time. And that has really made a big difference in what we are doing, the collaboration, working on our data, talking about the NMASA scores with especially our 3rd to 5th grade teachers, showing how the cohorts, even if the grades have not shown improvement, the cohorts actually have. So we've kind of done a deep dive with our 3rd graders doing better in 4th grade and our 4th graders doing better in 5th grade. So we're really excited about our PLC time after school with the extra time that our teachers are there on our campus. We also have the teachers working, not only the 2 3rd grade teachers working together, but the 3rd grade teachers working with the 5th grade and working with the 3rd grade. So them working together, having our special education and our activities teacher also working with our teachers to see if a student isn't having a great day or a great week, what's going on, and really talking that out. I also did a short survey of all our staff, and I asked them to tell us what their greatest triumphs were and our greatest challenges. And their greatest triumphs included engagement, classroom management, routines, and SEL strategies. So they were really proud of those things going on in their classroom. And their challenges were some behaviors and really extreme behaviors. And so we talked about that and to see how we could collaborate and really have services and resources for those particular students. They also talked about some of their challenges with motivation, really getting students back on track, back into school and motivated to be there. And then also some time management. So trying to fit everything into their day. So that was some of the challenges they had. I was in a training with our restorative justice team this week, and we're really getting on track for that. And we're really excited. We started out with circles, and many of our teachers already do circles in their classroom, but they're not exactly restorative justice circles. So we're working on that so that we can really integrate those into our weekly schedules. And then we're really excited about our family and community engagement. We had about 70% attendance rate at our back to school night. And we had lots of activities and games and families meeting teachers. We had a meal for them. So it was a really fun evening for everyone. Our Lions Club partnership, 100% of our students were checked for glasses and then recommended to go to a doctor to get glasses. As I mentioned before, our flamenco, the fourth graders every year participate in that. Our homecoming parade, we were really excited. We won second place. We tied with Arroyos del Norte. And so we were really excited about that. And we showed off our spirit stick during the parade. And I brought out all my old 1980s cheers for our students. And so, of course, we had lots of fun. And then we're creating a Title I monthly brochure or newsletter. So our Title I teacher is working on that, and we are partnering with our community schools person to really highlight our activities and pictures and things that we already put on our Facebook page, but that we would have on our web page so that families can see that as well. The Rotary Club began for the love of reading, and they're working with 56% of our first and second graders. So almost the majority of our first and second graders, and our students love it. I was in the library when one of our readers was with one of our students, and I thought it was hysterical because she goes, "I'm kind of like your grandma." And he said, "No, I think you're older than my grandma." But that's par for the course, because when the students were asking me my age, I said, "Well, how old do you think I am?" And one of them said, "You're not a day over 85. And I was like, "Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate you." And then we are having, and we're also, of course, working with Reading Quest. They're coming every Thursday, and they're testing our students right now and really working with them. So that's really exciting. And then tomorrow, we are having our Harvest Fest in the afternoon. You're all invited if you want to come. We split it up because we're having it in our courtyard, and because we have so many students, we're afraid to have pre-K through fifth grade all together. So we're having pre-K through second from 1:30 to 2:30, and then from 2:30 to 3:30, we're having our third grade through fifth grade, and we've invited parents. Our student council is sponsoring a concession stand, but if students don't come with money, we have plenty of things for them to eat during the Harvest Fest. We have popcorn donated by the movie theater, who are really, really exceptional with that. We have a juice press. They're going to come in with apples and make apple juice for the students. And we have all of the games have prizes, so students will be able to enjoy that as well. Yes. 1:30 to 2:30 are the littles from pre-K to second, and then 2:30 to 3:30 are the third through fifth grade in our courtyard. And then our systems, operations, and policies. We did complete all of our fire drills, shelter in place and evacuation drills for the beginning of the year. We submitted our safety plan in June, and that was approved through 2027. We have an on-call security person who's very good when we have issues, but we do not have a dedicated person for our school. We have presented our facility needs during the facilities community committee meeting, and we always have that in our strategic plan. I go out, take pictures of all the things, all the needs that we have. And of course, we're very, very excited about our new gym floor and really thank the board and Superintendent Layton and of course, Mr. Herrera, for really approving that because our gym was warped and nobody in the community could use it. So we're really excited about that. And thank you, gracias. There's a picture of us with our spirit stick that we're really excited about because you know I'm very competitive. And I stand for questions.
The board have any comments or questions for Dr. Estrella Marmol?
I don't know if you have more fun or the kids.
I have more fun.
And thank you so much for the presentation. And
Thank you.
and the passion that you have for the kids, and the kids obviously are responding to your leadership
Thank you so much.
so much.
Dr. Estrella,
We thank your teachers too.
Oh, I have a wonderful staff. They are excellent. Thank you so much.
I got a quick question. In regards to the summer school, you mentioned 75 students. Is that the cap for the summer program or?
That was the cap this year for the program. I think that the information, there's a couple of things. There was a lot of kids at the Enos program that were just transferred to the Ranchos program, so that kind of limited us. And I think because we were second, a lot of our parents went on vacation, went somewhere else. We have many families who go back to Mexico and they were back and didn't come back for the July session. So I think that kind of did not help our program.
This summer, is there plans to have a summer program?
Well, I'm hoping we do, and I'm hoping we can encourage more of our students to, and really recommend some of our students to go to the summer program. But as I said, try to have some more activities during the summer. I know when I used to teach, I always had a summer reading list of books that students should read before the next grade. And so we're thinking of things like that. And also, of course, the reading incentive programs with our local libraries. I think that would be really helpful because our students love going to the Talpa Community Center. And it's a mile walk from school, but parents always take them there during the summer. So we're really excited about that.
Board Member King.
Appreciate your excitement, Dr. Marmol. Just a couple questions regarding the Rotary Love of Reading program. Are you guys tracking that at all, like with the metrics?
Yes. Dr. Lucille Gallegos Jaramillo always gets the scores. So she gets our iReady scores at the beginning, and then she'll look at middle of the year scores so that we're seeing if there's improvement. And Reading Quest as well, all the students that they work with, they look at our iReady scores and our Amira scores, but they also give them an entrance assessment. So they're tracking our students as well.
Great.
I have one more question.
How about the third graders? Are they being read to at all? The Love of Reading?
Not this year. Last year, we did do second and third grade, but our teachers really want to have that time with their students. So we thought it would be good to have a jump start to have first and second grade. Mhm.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Secretary, turn on your mic. Your microphone.
Turn on your microphone.
Oh. My question is actually to Dr. Layton. Is the Enos Summer School and the Ranchos at the same time?
No, go ahead, sir. Well, we had, Enos had their program in June and we had ours in July. So it
that
was,
gonna be
it kind of, it transferred. And our students could absolutely go to Enos Garcia and then go to Ranchos, but that was not the case. That didn't really happen.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Mondragon.
President Flores, Superintendent Lee, and Secretary Trujillo, last year, because of the way the program was running, and we were partnering with Taos Community Foundation, they were splitting up the program between Enos and Ranchos. We're going to plan on doing some summer programming again, but our goal right now is to get Boys and Girls Club into the schools and have them running our summer program as well. One of the positive things that we've seen is that the governor has made free daycare for all students. So that kind of expanded and accelerated what Boys and Girls Club were going to do. So we're looking at opening up facilities at Arroyos and then Ranchos during the school year with the hopes and the plans of having summer school or summer program during the entire summer.
Thank you, Ms. Mondragon. Thank you, Dr. Senator Marmal, for highlighting your school.
Thank you.
You know, wonderful
Appreciate you.
job. Appreciate it. Okay, so I've been advised by Superintendent Leyen that we have Morton Capital online, and at this point in time, we will go ahead and amend the agenda, and I would like to make a motion to bring back item 8.1.
Second.
Do we have a second? Call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. So this time we'll go ahead and turn it over to the superintendent to, I guess, make the introductions and bring us forward.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, as part of the presentation that was requested for Morton Capital, we do have tonight Mr. Lundberg. I believe, can you hear us, Mr. Lundberg?
Me unmute. There we go. I'm
There we go.
unmuted now. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Lundberg, and the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for letting us be a part of this. I think that I might have gotten our times mixed up. I was kind of anticipating not coming on for another hour, but maybe time-wise and stuff, we got mixed up, but I'm glad I kind of jumped on early just to see what was going on there. But let me see how we move this. Do you guys move the PowerPoint forward, or is that something I have control of?
That is correct, Mr. Lundberg. We can move it for you.
Okay, if you'll just go ahead and move that forward. Let me go ahead and just tell you a little bit about Morton Capital Markets and what we do. We are a registered broker dealer, and what we do is we work specifically with public entities such as school districts, cities, counties, and states, and we help them with their investment needs. Our team, we've been doing this for about 25 years. When I say us, myself and Ryan, that helps part of our team that we cover New Mexico. I worked for about 15 years for Wells Fargo Capital Markets, along with Ryan, and then we've worked for the last 10 years for Morton Capital Markets. What we do is we come in and we work with school districts such as yourselves and provide opportunities for state statute approved investments. And we come in and we take a look at what you're currently doing and look for ways that we can improve or we could help. As a broker dealer, so just a couple important things that we always like to get out in front is it's a self-directed investment account. And because it's self-directed, there is no out-of-pocket expenses or fees for you guys to work with us. We're transaction-based. We get paid through either a selling concession or a markup or a markdown, but you don't have a management fee. You don't have monthly fees that come to us. It puts us in a position to be more of more in a consultative role that we're hustling and trying to help you guys. There's no contracts. Again, it's a self-directed account. You can start and stop with us anytime that you want. And it's really easy to try. If you'll go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Here's just a couple snapshots of some photo enhanced of our team here to make us look a little better, but stuff that you guys can look over at another time. You'll see that we're all Series 7 licensed, 63, and we also have our Series 9 licenses as well. So we have all of the licenses that are required by FINRA in order to do this. And it'll also give you just a little bit of background about us. But this is our team that works specifically in the New Mexico area. If you'll advance that, Here's a sample just to give you an idea of who we work with in the state of New Mexico. Like I said, we've been very, very fortunate to work with some wonderful, wonderful cities, counties, school districts, and the state. You'll see that right at the top. We do the investments for Taos County. We do the investments for the town of Taos. We do the investments for a substantial number. This is just a few of the school districts that we do work with. In addition, we do work with the state of New Mexico, hospitals, all public entities. We don't work with any individuals. So we specialize in working with school districts such as yourself. If you'll move that forward, this is just a snapshot. These, according to the New Mexico state statutes, these are the types of investments that are permissible. We won't show you anything that is not permissible. And inside those state statutes, sometimes you guys will have an investment policy that will restrict it even further. But this is the basis of the different types of investments, fixed income investments that you guys can buy. So just want to kind of give you an overview of what's available and what's out there. There's one in particular that I'm going to focus on that I think would suit your needs and would be very beneficial for you. It's one that the county there uses as well as the town, and that's our money market. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But if you'll move that forward for me, thank you. Part of what we do is we come in, we sit down with you, we talk with the finance director, and we find out what the liquidity needs are, what's the time horizon for the cash buckets. So we have a lot of different school districts that will have different buckets of money that's set aside or earmarked for certain things. And then we can come in and we'll gain an understanding of how soon before you need that money, and then what are your options to have that. And then that's what we'll share those ideas, we'll talk about them. And then ultimately, as a self-directed account, you guys will make the decision. But we'll walk you through. We'll say, hey, look, here's option A, option B, option C. Here's why we like it, and here's what we would recommend. So that's typically the process of what we do and how we work with people. If you can move that one forward. All right. So we like to show this one. This is kind of a little bit of an overview of the markets. And again, this is something else that we will bring and help you guys with, is to give you an idea of what's going on currently and what's happened historically. This is the last 20 years of short-term interest rates. And as you can see, back in 2005, just, a few years before, well, I started a few years before that. Alan Greenspan was the Fed chairman at the time. There was a period of time where the Fed was raising interest rates every month, 25 basis points, so on and so forth. Rates got up over 5%. And then 2008, 2009 hit. That was the financial crisis. Then for the next 4 or 5 years, interest rates were all the way down at zero, as well as, most of you will remember those times. It wasn't until about 2016 when the markets started picking up, things started going up and up, and then 2018, 2019 hit, and that's when COVID affected all of us. So then you had the next year or two that interest rates went back down to zero. There was a substantial amount of inflation that came through it, and about 2.5 years ago, the Fed aggressively started raising rates to try to deal with inflation. It took rates all the way up over 5%. That was a wonderful time. We had a lot of our cities and counties and school districts making a lot of money at that time. It's since turned and it's kind of moved back down. Last month, there was the first rate cut. And next week, it's anticipated that there'll be another rate cut. Then there'll be another one that is expected in December. That's the guidance that the Fed has given. And so what we do, again, is we take this information, we relay it to you, and we talk about it. And then we say, all right, where are things going? How do you feel about things? Look at the rates right now. You can see historically, we're still at great, great levels. And this is much, much better than those years after the financial crisis or those years after COVID. And I can distinctly remember them. It was just it was just tough sledding there just because rates were so low. So now is still a great time to do some investments. If we go on to this go one more, please. We're going to get more specific of just some ideas that we wanted to present to you guys of some things that we would take a look at. This is your 2024 financial statement. What we do is we go to the New Mexico State Auditor. He publishes all of this. It's all transparent. And we dive into this, we read the financials, and what we're looking for is to see what you're currently doing versus what you could be doing, and what ideas that we have, how could we improve it. If you're doing something great, we're the first ones to tell you, hey, great job, keep it up. But looking at this, we have some ideas, and in talking with the finance director there, one of the things that we see ultimately is looking at that is you have quite a bit of money in different checking accounts. And I know that you need that money liquid. And so the question for you guys is there a better parking spot than in a traditional checking account at a bank? And what we've done with our other school districts and our counties and cities is using our money market. And I'll kind of walk you through that and explain a little bit about what the money market is. Go ahead, if you would, just go to the next one. Okay, actually, before I get into the money market, I wanted to show you this. So this is your collateral report. And the reason I wanted to show you this is for a couple of reasons. Is one, the money that's at the bank is going to be collateralized. All banks have to do this. And by statute, it's 50%. It looks like you guys actually have it higher than 50%. In the event that that bank goes under, so we're talking Centennial Bank or US Bank, in the event that something happened, you would assume ownership of these securities. And these securities that are pledged to you are U.S. government securities or New Mexico State municipal bonds. So just looking at them, that's the security that's backing up what's at the bank. Not a bad, I mean, it's always really, really good to have something like that. The interesting thing, though, when you do look at those, a lot of those bonds, in the event if something were to happen, they're out to 32, 33, 41. So there's some of they're out there a ways. And in the event that you assume those securities, something's happened in the market, something's happened with that bank, a lot of times that makes it a little bit more difficult to unwind those. So nonetheless, it is still security. It's the way that everybody does it. But I want to show you what we think is a little bit better way. If you'll go to the next slide. This is our U.S. government money market that we use. The county uses it, the town uses it, many of the other school districts use this. This is a money market. It's an institutional money market that is made up 100% of U.S. government securities. The bulk of the fund is made up of maturities that expire in 7 to 10 days. They have some that go as far as 6 months. But other than that, everything is inside of that. Right now, the 7-day average on that money market is paying a 3.94. It's liquid. You can get your money any business day. The cutoff time is 2:30. So as long as we know before 2:30, we can pull money in, we can send money back. But it is a fantastic parking spot for excess cash that you don't need in a checking account and that you can put in a position that's going to earn you quite a bit more money. The credit rating on that fund is AAA rated. It's the highest rated that you can get. Inside the fund is 100% U.S. government securities. You are you own your pro rata share of the amount you invested. You invest 10 million, you own 10 million worth of U.S. government securities. So as far as the collateral, it's 100%, but it's U.S. government securities. It's not going to be a mixture of some mortgages and some of the other New Mexico municipal bonds, that type of stuff. You would own 100% of the underlying assets that are in that fund. This money market fund has been around since 2008. Currently, there's $22 billion in it. So it's a very, very large fund. It is the fund that we use for all of our, to be honest with you, all of our New Mexico public entities and many that we have in Utah and other states as well. RBC runs it. I think they do a great job. Again, it's offering it, right now it's paying a 3.94 on daily liquidity. So I think I've only got a couple more slides. If you go to the next one, this is just to kind of give you guys something to kind of think a little bit about. You know, it was I'll be honest, it was a lot more fun 6 months or a year ago when we were talking at 5%. I think the money market got all the way up to about 5.25, maybe 5.30. But nonetheless, still at a 390 on $10 million, that's an extra $390,000. Now, you don't have to do 10 million. It is an institutional fund, so we do have to start with $1 million. But that's what you start with. You can move the money in, take the money out, do whatever you want. It is a great, great parking spot for cash that you need liquid. But just to kind of give you an idea right there, just on $10 million annually, that's an extra $400,000. What many of our school districts have found is this is a way to be able to generate additional interest income to be able to do lots of different things. I think Gallup schools used it to buy iPads for a whole bunch of iPads. That was one thing that they did. We have a lot of different schools or cities that'll use the money to finish a project. I mean, whatever it is that you want to do, it's just instead of the money going to the bank, the money's going to go to you. And that's, you know, in essence, the easiest thing that we can help you with. So other than that, I think that wraps it up. I think my last page is just the disclosures, which you're happy to read or just hang on to if you can't sleep tonight. That'll put you to sleep. But other than that, I'd just like to open it up and see if anybody has any questions for me or anything that I can help with.
Does the board have any questions? Secretary Trujillo.
Hello, Larry.
Hi, Susan.
I have a question regarding the collateralization of Sentinel Bank. And I'm noticing that if you look at Belen, New Mexico Consolidated School District,
Yep.
the maturity date is 8/1 of 2024. What happens? What should have happened on that date?
Okay, so that's a great question. So remember that this report, so the state auditor, so let me back up. Right now, you guys are just finishing up your audits. The state auditor doesn't publish them until about January. So what we're looking at is June 2024's, as of that June 30th date, that was the collateral. When that Belen, New Mexico school district bond matured, which was on 8/1 of 24, the bank, Centennial Bank, would have to replace that with something else. So the problem is, like on that particular one, is it just had a short period of time till maturity. We're already past that. The bank has replaced that with something else.
Okay, I want to add to that. Is
Yeah.
there any way that the school would have a say? Because they're extending these out till 2032 and 3341. Isn't a statute that limits these dollar amounts that could go out? And I say that only because, again, looking at the interest rates, they're really quite low. I mean, you're looking at the FHMR 2021 pool at I mean, that's at 1.73. If you go down the line, it's 1.50. It's very low. Of course, the other issue is that the bank is the one that keeps all the interest off of these collaterals monies.
Yeah, that's the important part that you realize. So the bank buys these securities and they put them in their collateral or their pledged collateral department. The bank gets all those interest rates. They pay you whatever they're paying you on your checking account, which I can't speak for either US Bank or Centennial of what they're paying you. I just having, my own experience working for a bank, I know they don't pay you very much at all. And so I would suspect that on those checking accounts, you're getting very, very minimum, if anything at all. Most of the time, what they like to do is pay in services. But what happens is this is how the banks make money. There's the spread. They take your money and because they can't loan that out in the community because it has to be collateralized, they can't, put it out for car loans or mortgages. They have to go buy securities. So what do? They go out and they buy longer dated securities that have a much higher interest rate so they can collect it while it just sits there, What they'd really like to do is they'd like to go loan it out as a mortgage, you know, at 7%. But, you know, because it has to be collateral, they can't. So this is legal because it's collateralization, and all the banks do that. What we find is a lot of times people don't realize what does happen if the bank does go under, and it's not very often that that happens. In my 25-year career, we did have a few banks that went under, and that was during the financial crisis. Other than that, it really is, it doesn't happen that often. Most of the time they can stabilize and they can help them. But it is just something to be aware of, that this is what you will own in the event that something happens. And so that is much better than not having anything at all. If you had no collateralization and that bank goes under, you get $250,000 of FDIC insurance. And then after that, you're on your own. So this is better. This is definitely good. I think it's just something to kind of be aware of.
And actually, the statute, and would you read the statute and what the limitations are in comparison to what we have in place with Sentinel Bank and this collateralization?
Well, so yeah, so the statute that I was quoting was 610-10. That's what you can invest in. This is a whole different statute as far as collateral requirements. I'd have to dig in for that. You know, honestly, I wouldn't necessarily worry about that, but I can find that out for you and get that information. It's just going to take me a little while to dig into that as far as collateral. We just don't traffic in that because none of our securities are like this. Everything that we have is U.S. government securities. And like, for instance, in this money market, those are all going to roll off in 60. I saw the fact sheet, 63% of the entire fund in there rolls off 7 to 10 days. So, and the furthest one that goes out is about 6 months. And so everything in the money market is very, very short, and it is U.S. government securities. So you're not going to have, you know, one off of, you know, a bond here and a bond there. You're getting U.S. government securities. So just some of the differences there, I think something to kind of consider. I think the bigger thing, honestly, is looking at what is the cash doing for you? What could you guys get? I think the safety that's collateralized at the bank, but here it would be, you would have the underlying assets, which are government securities. So I actually think this is a little bit better, but I don't think that's bad. I wouldn't be alarmed, but I can find that out for you, Susan. I'd be happy to.
Okay, my other question is, do we have a reserve requirement as a school district? Probably that would be a question to Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Do we have a reserve requirement?
Reserve requirement, how much cash we need to keep?
Yes.
I do not recall a state statutory requirement how much cash we need to have on the checking account, apart from the fact that we have to pay the bills punctual, so prudent cash flow calculation. However, in the budget analysis form used by PED, we do have, let's say, a traffic light scheme between you have too much cash in 11,000, so general fund specifically, or too little, or you are in a good space. So the green space, if I recall correctly, is between 1 to 3 months of SEG money.
It would be 3 months.
So that would be for us between $2 and $6 million having available on the checking account.
Okay, Larry, then that would mean that cash reserve, that reserve money could be invested differently than the money market, correct? Or could you look into that?
You know what? Again, that would be, we don't want to get you in a position where you're going to have to, you know, sell securities and stuff. I mean, that would be with Dr. Martin, just knowing kind of what bills are coming down the road. I think the first step, if I were you guys, is I would look at potential.
Yes.
What are you getting right here versus like in the money market?
Okay. Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Martin.
Thank you, Mark. Dr. Martin, double check that reserve requirement, all right? Every government that I've worked in has a reserve requirement that's specific, so could you check into that?
I will.
Thank you. And then, Mr. Lundberg, is that your name?
Yes,
Larry Lundberg.
Hi.
please
would you
call me
just-
Larry.
Oh, hi, Larry. You can call me Cindy. So would you describe selling concession and markup, markdown for everyone, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So with we get paid, think of it like, so mostly it's usually transactional based. So if we find something good and we help you, then we get paid. The issuer pays us. So let me explain on the money market. The money market pays us, Morton Capital Markets, as part of what they call their distribution arm. The money market is paying, I don't remember what it was, $390. It's actually making more. It's grossing 4%, 405, something like that. What the money market does is it takes 10 to 15 basis points off the top, and that pays for the fund company at RBC to buy, sell, and trade all the securities to run the fund. And then they also pay us a selling concession or a distribution payment to go out and sell their fund for them. So we have we have multiple funds we could sell. They all work the same, but that's how we get paid on that. So the rate to you guys is net. The gross they take off the top to pay for the fund, to run it, to sell it, that type of thing. So that's why there's no out-of-pocket expenses to you guys. But that's a great question.
Thank you. That's a great answer. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mark.
Any further questions for the presenter? Thank you, Larry, for your time tonight. Appreciate all the information, and I believe that our administration will be keeping in contact with you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all. It's been wonderful to be with you.
Have a good night, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so with the insertion of 8.1, following 9.1, is our campus reports for review. I just want to thank all the administrators that provided reports to the board for their work and for providing the information. Item 10 is old business. 10.1 is discussion, consideration, and possible approval of proposed adjustment to the 2025-2026 academic calendar. We have Ms. Nicole Mora Atencio, our school improvement coordinator, presenting.
President Flores, members of the board, Superintendent Layton, the calendar committee is proposing that we change November 3rd to a parent-teacher conference, eliminating our virtual day that was originally in its place. This would ensure that we don't have any instructional loss, as we would be asking to eliminate the parent-teacher conference originally scheduled in the spring. The reasoning being that we found that the virtual day seemed to be ineffective, and the original vote was that we actually have an in-person date, but also that we felt we were being more proactive or preemptive by engaging parents with parent-teacher conferences in the fall, creating partners in education for the year versus waiting until the spring, whereas certain interventions may be too late at that point in which we would have to engage parents. And so we're hoping to be able to make this change and keep the instructional time still the equivalent to what it originally was.
Thank you, Ms. Mora Atencio. Does the board have any questions?
I do. Thank you.
Board Member King.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Tensi, I'm glad to hear that. I was under the impression that we weren't going to have a parent-teachers day, which I was really concerned about. So I'm glad to hear that, because report cards came out actually today, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So no, it's, we have to keep that engagement with the families, and when those students are not, when there's concerns, I believe you're totally correct. We need to address them now. We don't have time to wait.
Absolutely.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
I just have a comment. I agree with the board member King and yourself, Ms. Mora Atencio. I think it's important that we have the parent-teacher conferences earlier in the year. So, for intervention and identifying specific behavioral needs or academic needs and conveying those to the families. So I think it's a good move. Superintendent, I know that this is, comes through you, but what would you, this is an action item. So what is your recommendation?
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, I recommend the approval of the proposed adjustment to the 25-26 academic calendar as presented by Nicole Moratencio, School Improvement Coordinator.
And this would be moving the parent-teacher conferences to November 3rd.
That is correct, sir.
With that, I'll go ahead and make a motion for approval to the adjustments to the school calendar, moving the parent-teacher conferences to November 3rd.
Second.
We have a second from Vice President Sprague. Call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Mora Atencio.
Thank you so much.
Item 11, executive session, limited personnel matters as permitted under Section 10-15-1 H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. 11.1, limited personnel matters as permitted under Section 10-15-1 H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. Item 1, for the superintendent to update the board regarding progress on performance plan. Item 2, to discuss possible superintendent contract extension in order to meet statutory and policy deadlines. Under state law, board is prohibited from taking any action to extend or terminate a superintendent's contract during any time between the date of the regular local election in which school board positions are on the ballot, which is November 4th, and 60 days after the convening of the newly elected board, which would be January 3rd. Under board policy CB, the board must take action on an existing superintendent's contract no later than February of the year the contract expires. Item 11.2, pursuant to Section 10-15-1H of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, Section 12-6-5 of the New Mexico Audit Act, and 2.2.15A3 NMAC, for the auditing firm and superintendent to update the board regarding status of a special audit. For the record, it is 7:44 p.m. I would like to make a motion to enter into executive session.
Second. Oops.
We have a second from Board Member King. I'll call for the roll.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes. Those of you that are here, thank you for joining us tonight. We're in executive session.